Before anything meaningful can manifest, the first practice is not to act but to listen, to observe the inner movement that usually goes unnoticed. When the world pulls us outward demanding reactions, responses and ambitions, the wise one withdraws not from life, but into the quiet center within. In that stillness, something far more intelligent than thought begins to arise. The journey to get what you want does not begin with chasing it. It begins with knowing what is truly worth wanting. And to see that clearly, you must be still. You must be like water that settles after disturbance, revealing the rocks beneath. Stillness is misunderstood. It is not inactivity, it is pure attention. It is the discipline of pausing long enough to feel what is real, what is fleeting, and what is simply borrowed from others. Most people run after goals they never chose. They follow the path because others are walking it, not because it leads to their truth. When you are still long enough and often enough, you begin to see these illusions for what they are. 1,000 voices fall silent and one clear voice remains. That voice is not loud, but it is unmistakable. It does not shout, it guides. In the moment of stillness, the mind shows its patterns. The ego shows its fear of being left behind. The body shows its fatigue from chasing things that never fed the soul. And in that clear mirror, you begin to see not what you want temporarily, but what your being craves deeply and quietly. This is the real starting point of getting what you want. Not the desire that flickers with trends or moods, but the desire that remains even when everything else is stripped away. That desire is connected to your life force itself. To discover it is to discover your personal path, the one no one else can walk for you. Modern life is a storm. Information, opinions, expectations, all swirl around you and steal your attention before you even notice. You cannot master your life if your attention is mastered by the world. The first and greatest power is to reclaim your attention and return it to the breath, the body, the present moment. Do not underestimate this. The one who controls their attention controls their destiny. Because when you can hold your mind still like a sword pointed at a single target, all of your being begins to move in that direction. That is when doors open, not because of luck, but because of focused presence. From stillness comes clarity. From clarity comes intention. And intention is the invisible thread that weaves together thought, speech, and action. Without clarity, the archer shoots arrows in the dark, but when he waits, listens to the wind, aligns his breath with the bowstring, then he releases, and the arrow flies true. You are no different. If you rush without pausing, you act from confusion, but when you slow down and allow yourself to see clearly, then every step you take becomes precise. Energy is not wasted. Decisions become easier. Distractions lose their power. You begin to walk a straight path, not in terms of ease, but in terms of alignment. To build this stillness is not complicated, but it is not easy. It is a practice. It begins the moment you choose not to reach for the phone, not to open your mouth in reaction, not to fill the silence with noise. It begins with one breath fully inhaled and fully released, with 10 minutes in the morning where nothing is needed except presence. It deepens when you sit with discomfort instead of escaping it, when you observe the inner storm without trying to control it. In those moments, you are no longer reacting to life, you are seeing it. You are reclaiming your inner authority. Stillness is also where truth hides. Many people ask, what is my purpose? But they cannot hear the answer because they never sit in the silence long enough. The answers we seek are already within us, but they are buried beneath layers of noise. Stillness peels those layers away. It does not give you something new. It reminds you of something ancient. Your direction is not found outside. It is revealed when the clouds of thought begin to clear. And the more still you become, the louder your inner guidance speaks. There is a discipline required here. Because the world does not reward stillness. It celebrates noise, production, speed, competition. So to be still is to be rebellious in the truest sense. It is to step out of the current and say, I will not be moved by what is shallow. I will only be moved by what is real. And this is not passive. It is the most courageous act you can perform. To be still is to say, I trust that my deepest truth will rise without being forced. That trust is the foundation of inner power. From this practice comes focus, comes alignment. From alignment, energy is no longer scattered, but directed like a beam of light. What you focus on expands. What you align with begins to manifest. So if you want something deeply, the first step is not to chase it, but to become the kind of person who is ready to receive it. Stillness is how you begin that becoming. It teaches you how to let go of what doesn't serve. It trains your nervous system to stay calm under pressure. It awakens your intuition and deepens your presence. These are not abstract ideas. They are skills. And the more you practice them, the stronger you become. When you master stillness, you no longer act from impulse, fear, or insecurity. You act from insight. Is sharper than instinct, deeper than logic. It is the voice of your inner master, speaking not in words, but in certainty. And when you act from that place, your actions carry weight. They ripple through the world in ways you cannot always predict, but can always trust. You do not need to explain yourself when your presence speaks louder than your words. In the end, getting what you want is not about fighting harder. It is about seeing clearer, and clarity begins with stillness. It begins when you stop moving long enough to feel what is true, to see what is real, and to choose what is aligned. Then, and only then, can you begin to move with power, precision, and purpose. So sit, breathe, be still. And in that silence, let the first step reveal itself, not through noise, but through knowing. Desire alone is not enough. Wishing is a soft breeze. It moves the grass, but it does not move the mountain. To bring a vision into form, you must become the force that moves with certainty, again and again, without waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal conditions. Life respects rhythm. It rewards the one who keeps walking even when the path is unclear, even when no one is watching, even when the results are slow to arrive. To get what you want, you must build a discipline so strong that it does not depend on your emotions, your mood, or the weather of your mind. This is the way of relentless action. It is not about working yourself into exhaustion. It is about showing up with integrity, with focus, and with unshakable presence. When you do the right thing over and over again without needing instant reward, you create a current too strong to be stopped. There is a principle in nature: what grows slowly lasts the longest. Bamboo spends years growing underground before it breaks the surface. In that hidden time, it is not wasting effort. It is building a root system that can support its sudden rise. Most people want results without the roots. They want growth without patience. They act when they feel motivated and stop when they feel tired. But motivation is a guest. It comes and goes. Discipline is a resident. It stays. If you want something deeply, you must act for it whether or not you feel like it. That is how you train the muscle of relentless action. This kind of action is not chaotic. It is deliberate. It begins with a clear understanding that repetition is not punishment but refinement. Every day that you train your mind, your body, your craft, you are not starting over, you are sharpening. Each repetition carves a pathway deeper into your being until the action is no longer effortful but natural. The mistake is to think that repetition dulls you. In truth, it polishes you. In truth, it polishes you. The hammer does not damage the blade, it strengthens it. In the same way, showing up daily, especially when it is difficult, builds an inner strength that cannot be imitated or borrowed. You will be tempted many times to stop. The mind will whisper that progress is too slow, that your efforts are unnoticed, that there is an easier way. But those are just echoes of your old self, the part that is still afraid of change. Ignore those voices. Or better yet, hear them without believing them. Keep moving. Let your feet carry your intention. Let your actions carry your will. Every time you move forward when it's hard, you weaken the hold of laziness, of doubt, of fear. You teach yourself what you are capable of, not through theory, but through practice. Action is a sacred language. It is how you communicate with the universe. You cannot just think your way into a new reality. You must behave as if it is already forming. Every morning you wake up and do the work, you send a signal. You say, I am ready, I am serious. I am not here to dabble, I am here to become. And over time, that consistency shapes not just your outcomes, but your identity. You are no longer someone who wants change. You are someone who embodies it. That shift in self-image is what changes the trajectory of your life. But understand this, relentless action is not mindless. It is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters with full attention. You could take 1,000 steps in the wrong direction and call it progress. Or you could take one step in the right direction with clarity and presence and create transformation. So part of your training is to constantly refine what you are doing, not to do more, but to do better. To examine your habits, your system, your methods, and adjust them with wisdom. Every day is an opportunity to optimize. Relentless action includes relentless reflection. The warrior polishes his sword, not just swings it. In this path, fatigue will visit. That is not failure. That is a reminder to breathe deeper, to rest with awareness, and to return with strength. Rest is not quitting, it is part of the cycle. What you must avoid is not tiredness, but the story that tiredness means you're not meant for this. That story is false. You are meant for whatever you are willing to grow through. Let the struggle shape you, not shrink you. Let the repetition sculpt your being until the actions that once felt difficult become your second nature. Time does not wait. It does not care for intention without action. It moves forward, and either you move with it or you watch your potential fade. The difference between those who reach their vision and those who do not is not always talent, intelligence, or luck. It is often just this: who stayed the course when it was boring, when it was hard, when it felt invisible. The one who stayed, who acted with persistence and without applause, is the one who builds a foundation no storm can break. You must choose to live differently. To live by principle, not preference. To act not because you feel ready, but because you said you would. Make your word to yourself unbreakable. Let your actions be the proof that you are not just dreaming, you are doing. When your actions and your words align, your inner power rises. And with that power, what once seemed impossible becomes reachable. To build this rhythm, start small but sacred. Choose one action. Do it daily. Do it with focus. Expand only when the first becomes effortless. Do not chase too many things at once. You are not here to scatter energy. You are here to direct it. Like water through a narrow path, focused action creates deep results. Let every movement carry your full presence. Let every repetition be a ritual. Over time, your outer world will reflect the inner discipline you've cultivated. There is a quiet power in the one who moves without needing noise. While others wait to feel ready, you act. While others wait for approval, you proceed. While others fluctuate with mood, you anchor yourself in purpose. That kind of consistency is rare, and that is why it is powerful. If you become the one who keeps showing up, keeps refining, keeps walking, you will eventually arise where others only imagine. Not by chance, not by miracle, but by the silent strength of relentless action. That is how the unseen becomes seen. That is how the wish becomes reality. That is how the vision becomes you. What you want is not found within the walls of comfort. It lies on the other side of the resistance you avoid, in the silence after distraction is removed, in the emptiness that most people feel. If your goal is true, if it calls to the depth of your being, it will ask for something in return. It will not meet you halfway. It will ask you to rise. And rising requires shedding. Shedding habits that soothe but weaken. Shedding choices that feel safe but dull the spirit. Shedding even parts of yourself that were useful once, but no longer serve where you're going. The cost of alignment is always comfort, and those who hesitate to pay that price never truly step into their power. They stay where it's familiar, even when it hurts, even when it suffocates their potential. There is no great transformation without sacrifice. This is not a punishment, it is a purification. The fire you walk through is not there to destroy you, but to refine you. When you release what no longer fits the truth of who you are becoming, you make space. Space for clarity, space for discipline, space for deeper power. You must understand that your environment is not neutral. The people you surround yourself with, the routines you repeat, the thoughts you allow, these either align you or distract you. To live in alignment is to become ruthless about what you allow into your field. Not from fear, but from devotion to the path you have chosen. Comfort whispers with many voices. It says, "You've done enough for today." It says, "They won't understand if you change." It says, "What if you fail?" And each time you listen, you lower your standard. Not because you are weak, but because you are human. But to walk a path of mastery, to truly attain what you say you want, you must recognize comfort for what it is, a soft cage. It appears gentle, even kind, but it slowly locks you away from your potential. The longer you stay within its walls, the harder it becomes to remember what life outside it felt like. This is why alignment demands sharp awareness. You must see the trap before it closes. It is not enough to want change. You must embody the willingness to let go. Let go of being liked. Let go of being understood. Let go of the illusion that everyone must walk with you. Many will not, and that is not your burden. Your duty is to your alignment, not their approval. If they do not respect your growth, your clarity, your boundaries, then they are not meant for the next part of your journey. Every step upward requires lightening the load. Every higher level of life demands a higher version of you. And the path from who you were to who you are becoming is paved with conscious sacrifice. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a liberation. The moment you stop serving every impulse, every craving, every fleeting desire, you reclaim control. You begin to steer your life with intention, not reaction. This is the shift. Instead of living for momentary comfort, you begin to live for lasting alignment. Instead of choosing ease, you choose meaning. And over time, you build a structure around yourself that protects your energy, your focus, your peace. That structure is your habits. That structure is your boundary. That structure is your word to yourself. Without that, even the most powerful intentions drift away. The challenge is that misalignment often feels good in the short term. Junk food tastes good. Mindless scrolling feels relaxing. Staying silent when you should speak feels easier. But this is the trap. The temporary comfort of misalignment eventually becomes long-term suffering. It erodes your self-respect. It dims your inner light. It weakens your ability to act with conviction. The more you compromise what you know is right for what is easy, the more your power leaks out. To reverse this, you must be willing to feel discomfort again. To train yourself to sit in attention without needing to escape. To replace comfort with commitment. There will be loneliness in this path. But it is not the loneliness of isolation. It is the solitude of alignment. It is the space where you meet yourself fully. No masks. No distractions. Just you, your truth, and your discipline. From that place, you grow roots so deep that no external noise can uproot you. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, choose differently. And those who resonate with your frequency will find you, not because you chased them, but because you became magnetic through your alignment. Power does not beg, it does not persuade, it simply is. You must begin asking yourself hard questions. What am I doing that is keeping me small? What am I avoiding in the name of comfort? What am I holding on to that no longer serves the version of me I want to become? These questions are not easy, but the answers are your guide. Every time you release a comfort that weakens you, you step closer to your power. Every time you choose alignment over approval, you build trust with yourself. That trust becomes unshakable. It becomes the foundation from which all real success is built. There is a reason temples are built on mountains. You must climb to reach them. The air is thinner, the path is steep, but the view is clear. That climb is symbolic of your own journey. If you stay in a valley of comfort, you may have company, but you will never have clarity. The higher you rise in alignment, the more silent it becomes, but also the more sacred. Not everyone will understand the sacrifices you make. They are not meant to. Your life is not a democracy. Your vision is not up for debate. What matters is that you understand and that you walk with integrity. Let your life be your message. Let your discipline speak louder than your words. Let your sacrifices become your strength. The things you give up in pursuit of alignment will not be losses. They will be exchanges. You will trade distraction for focus. You will trade fear for inner power. You will trade convenience for transformation. And in time, your life will reflect the quality of your choices. It is not always fast. It is not always glamorous, but it is always worth it. The world does not need more people who live for comfort. It needs more people who live for truth. If you want to get what you truly desire, not just in the material world, but in your spirit, then begin removing what is false. Begin saying no to what dims you. Begin honoring what sharpens you. The process will not be easy, but comfort was never the point. Becoming who you are meant to be, that is the point. And everything that does not support that becoming must be released no matter how familiar it feels. That is the way of alignment. That is the price of true power. What you want cannot be given to you until you are ready to hold it. Life does not withhold. It waits. It waits for you to become the version of yourself who can carry the weight of your vision without collapsing under it. Many desire the outcome, but few prepare for the responsibility. The path to getting what you want is not paved only with effort, but with inner transformation. It requires you to evolve from the inside out so that when your desire arrives, it does not destroy you. It elevates you. This transformation is not cosmetic. It is foundational. It asks you to examine your beliefs, your behaviors, your emotional patterns, and the way you respond to challenge. Because if your mindset is fragile, no amount of success will bring peace. If your identity is built on fear, no amount of achievement will bring freedom. To truly receive what you desire, you must first become a vessel worthy of it. This is the law of preparation. The soil must be tilled before it can receive the seed. The body must be trained before it can carry weight. The mind must be cleared before it can receive clarity. The person who ignores preparation and chases only the reward will always find themselves overwhelmed. Even if by chance they receive what they ask for, they will not be able to hold it. It will slip through their fingers, not because they were unworthy, but because they were unready. Readiness is not something you declare, it is something you demonstrate through your consistency, through your awareness, through your willingness to do the internal work that no one else sees. This path demands you to see yourself clearly, not just your strengths, but your shadows. Where are you still operating from fear? Where do you seek validation more than truth? Where do you sabotage progress because you're more comfortable with struggle than success? These are not flaws. They are signals. They are invitations to grow. And unless you face them, they will shape your decisions from the background, quietly pulling you away from your goals. But when you bring awareness to these patterns, you take back your power. You shift from being driven by unconscious wounds to being guided by conscious intention. That shift changes everything. Growth is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet and uncomfortable. Sometimes it looks like letting go of people who no longer align with your values. Sometimes it means facing a truth you've avoided for years. Sometimes it's choosing discipline over distraction when no one is watching. This kind of growth is invisible at first, but over time it becomes undeniable. You begin to respond to life differently. You stop reacting. You start creating. You stop waiting for permission. You start leading yourself. And this internal maturity is what allows you to step into greater opportunities without being consumed by them. There is a season in life where you will feel like nothing is working, like your effort is not being noticed, like the path is too slow, like the vision is too far. That season is not punishment, it is preparation. Life is shaping your character. It is teaching you to be patient without losing passion, to be disciplined without needing applause, to be faithful without needing proof. If you can endure that season, if you can keep walking without visible reward, you build something inside you that cannot be broken. You develop resilience. And resilience is the currency that life respects. Your external reality always mirrors your internal world. If your mind is chaotic, your life will be disorganized. If your heart is wounded, your relationships will reflect that pain. If you doubt your worth, your results will match that limitation. So the true work begins within. Heal what needs healing. Strengthen what is weak. Sharpen what is dull. This inner refinement is not glamorous, but it is necessary. No one may see it, but they will feel it. The more aligned you become internally, the more effortlessly things align externally. Life does not respond to what you say, it responds to who you are. This journey requires radical responsibility. You must stop blaming. Stop waiting for someone else to change. Stop hoping circumstances will shift on their own. Take ownership of your path. The moment you do, you stop being a victim and start being a creator. You realize that your future is not determined by your past, but by your present choices. That every thought, every word, every action is shaping what's coming next. And when you start moving with that awareness, you begin to walk differently. You stop wasting energy on what you can't control. You pour your focus into what you can. There will be temptation to shortcut the process, to copy others, to chase trends, to fake confidence. But shortcuts lead to shaky foundations. What is built without substance cannot last. True power is built slowly with intention and integrity. It is built through showing up when it's inconvenient, through staying honest when it's uncomfortable, through acting from principle, not pressure. This is how you become someone who doesn't just get what they want, but keeps it, multiplies it, and uses it for good. Part of becoming ready is learning how to let go. Let go of attachments, let go of expectations, let go of the idea that your worth depends on what you achieve. You're already worthy. The work is not to prove that, but to remember. When you operate from self-worth, not self-doubt, your energy changes. You stop chasing out of desperation. You start creating out of inspiration, and people feel that. Opportunities feel that. Life feels that. The vibration of a grounded person draws things toward them without force. You must also learn to trust timing. Just because something isn't happening now doesn't mean it never will. Timing is not a barrier, it is a teacher. It teaches patience. It teaches humility. It teaches you to stay steady even when the reward is invisible. And when you can hold that trust, when you can continue moving without guarantees, you cultivate faith. Not blind faith, but earned faith. The kind that is rooted in action and aligned with vision. In the end, getting what you want is not about fighting life. It is about aligning with. It's about becoming so clear, so grounded, so disciplined, that what you want naturally flows toward you because you've become its equal. This is the secret most people miss. They try to manipulate outcomes without transforming themselves, but life is too intelligent for that. It does not give based on desire, it gives based on identity. So the real work is to become the person who is ready, who is strong enough to carry it, wise enough to use it, and aligned enough to honor it. This is the final key. Get serious about your preparation. Get devoted to your growth. Not just for the reward, but because of who you become in the process. Let your desire shape you. Let it call forth your discipline. Let it refine your choices. And trust that when you are truly ready, life will respond, not with noise, but with undeniable clarity. Because readiness is not something you chase, it is something you embody. And once you embody it, what you seek begins to seek